What is up, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. I am excited. First of all, it's Friday. Second of all, we've got a great guest. So if you guys are ready to rock and you're on live, then find that comment box and begin to sort of blow it up for us. And if you're catching the replay, then drop a replay or engage just as if it was live, and we'll make sure to try to get back to you, comment, whatever, I mean, just because you're not able to be here live doesn't mean you're not a part of the community. So let's get into it. I'm excited to talk to Greg Jeffries. What's up, my brother?
How's it going, man?
It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. You sound good. You got a nice microphone there, just like me. We're like radio talk show host or whatever. We can kind of pretend to be like Joe Rogan or something today.
Yeah.
So where are you calling in from?
Actually Joe Rogan land. I'm here in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, he just moved there out of California. We don't got our Spotify spots yet, though. So I was looking over some of your I just kicked off a decade in a day training that we do on Fridays for our blueprint buyers. So I was just looking over your stuff before we went live, and you are a pretty big, like, your deal is SEO, right? Affiliate, like, whether mostly blogging, right?
Yeah, I just had to go that direction as opposed to videos. I started out with videos, but then kind of shifted to websites because you have a little bit more control over kind of manipulating people, I guess, or whatever. When they get on your website, you can, you do pop-ups and things like that. Whereas YouTube, there's a whole lot of distractions, so your only hope is like, please click the link in the description and stuff, but they've got all of those videos in the sidebar to distract them. So when you get them to your website, you have a lot more control.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about because I got a lot of things. There's three things that I want to talk about.
Sure.
First of all, SEO, because I'm starting to do a lot more like blogging and SEO stuff, actually. And I'd love to get your insights into some stuff. It'd be good to talk about that just for the community. But, sure. And of course, you've got a couple of other things that you mentioned, that would be good to talk about and cover. But give us a nutshell about like how you got started in all this in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, my story goes way, way back, but I guess I marked my beginning of like trying to make money online officially about 2010. So, we never crossed paths, but I was, familiar with Empower and all that stuff. But so I got into SC. Well, I tried a bunch of different things, and most everything I've ever tried has worked, has made me some money. But I gravitated towards SEO because it was, even though it takes a little bit of effort, takes a little bit of time, but so does everything. I didn't have much of a budget to work with. Like my last job, I left in December of 2016. So from that point up until, 2010, way back then, I've never made more than like $20,000 at a job, a full-time job, before taxes. So I didn't have a lot of money to work with. Like the ideal scenario would be to have a decent enough job to where you at least have like at least a couple $100 a month that you can throw at something, so you don't have to spend so much time. So I had time and I didn't have like very much money to work with. I don't even honestly know how I had any money. I wasn't with that little amount living in Austin, Texas. I don't know how I got by, honestly. And I didn't even know that you could get like more than one credit card or increase your credit limit. So I was just, there's a lot of ignorance and just things I didn't know. So that's how I wound up with SEO. But I tried a lot of different little biz ops and things, all different. You've been doing this for a long time too. So, coming up, I saw the video sales letters and stuff and sales pages of laptop lifestyle, living on the beach, passive income, and, just making money from anywhere with just a laptop and internet connection. And so I finally figured out a way to do that with SEO and affiliate marketing. And because, there's a lot of my friends that make tons more money than me that do paid ads and things like that. But when they've, when they understand what I do, they're like, man, I'd trade all this in a day. I'd take a massive pay cut so that I don't have to, because your stuff is passive. So once you get the ball rolling, it like, I've been making like multiple six figures a year for the last couple of years. Literally, if I just walked away, I would have still made that and done nothing. So it's anyway. So that's how it kind of wound up there. It just kind of fit with my personality and stuff, and then I just didn't have that much money to start with. So paid ads, you got to figure out a way to get a budget, and I didn't have a budget, so to work with.
Yeah. So before we get into the SEO stuff, like what attracted you to get involved with Legendary?
Well, one of my first, I've tried to put out products over the years, but I'm not that great at selling. Another reason why I'm kind of like behind the scenes doing SEO and stuff, like just like shadow man behind the scenes. So one of my original students that bought like my very first product, it was only like $100 for affiliate SEO, was Jacob Karras, and he was still a job at the time, so I couldn't even, and it was a conflict with his job to like, I couldn't brag about him, but he was like one of my most successful students. And he was like 2 years ago, he was posting some screenshots, and I didn't want to like ask him what those screenshots were for, but they were pretty big. And so, I'm pretty good at reverse engineering stuff. So I was like, let me figure out what this dashboard is. So I went and found what this was, which was Legendary, apparently something that he had found. And so it was through him that I learned about Legendary.
I got you.
It's good to make, relationships and friends, because, I've been able to help him out, and as a result, share one tip that's made him gobs of money. And then just this has made me a decent amount of money as well. So it's just relationships, and just like one little nugget of information you get at a mastermind or a workshop or something, it can just change your whole life.
Yeah. And just contacts. I mean, like just having contacts and having good, solid people, just even in your network that you follow or are connected to on social media and so forth, and really kind of distilling that down is where I think also is a place for people to really be at and consider being at in 2020 and beyond. Like not just like, it's important to have a big audience that you're marketing to, but like a really small, tight knit circle that you're receiving information from, because, everybody's political opinions or everybody's new hot biz op that they're excited about that week or whatever is not useful for most people to know about, because they just get taken into rabbit holes and develop massive overwhelm,
Yeah, there's a lot of noise and a lot of misinformation, which there's exceptions. Jacob is one of the, he's one of the, for anybody that doesn't know, he's one of like your top affiliates. He is excellent at being able to, like, his path, his journey was incredible, because he like found me, implemented immediately, which is very important. Set up a blog, got some cash flow going, rolled that into paid ads, jumped from me to, I think, my friend Dan Frigo, and from him to Spencer Meekum, and just kept compounding. And then he eventually found you. So yeah, that's not most people's journey. I had to wade through a bunch of misinformation for years.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, we titled this the weird infinity scale affiliate marketing model. So
yeah, what does that even mean? No.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, we're marketers, so we come up with weird headlines and shit, So like SEO is, I'll tell you what I'm doing, what I'm fascinated with SEO about is that, like, I kind of recently, dude, got away from this whole idea of like this branding content online, like being kind of like creating all this like value training on like Instagram and Facebook and like, you know what I mean? Like the kind of Gary V Grant Cardone style content, to where it's just like an overwhelm of little 1 minute motivational videos, because I realized like it looks cool, but it doesn't make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 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 so for somebody like me who has been successful online for many years, I was like, why am I doing this? This shit is stupid. It's just creating a bunch of extra work for me. You
And
know
it
what I
and
mean?
it gives you, I like what Shane Mallah from Thrive Themes preaches. You're chasing those vanity metrics, which don't really
Yeah.
move the needle of your business. It makes you feel good because, dopamine rush, you get the likes and
Yeah.
shares, whatever. But like I think Frank Kern said, I've tried to take my likes to the bank and like, cash them, but they won't accept them. It's like,
It's like the movie Dumb and Dumber, when he opens the box of like IOUs and he's like,
yeah,
you,
it's not good for anything.
these things, these are what, how can you not be excited about a box of IOUs? So like what I realized, so I started doing this show. Like we were doing the show, but I took it over every morning, and like it's been a huge like social proof piece for our community, because 5 days a week we bring on somebody who's actually a student who goes through and everybody goes through our training in some way, shape, or form. But maybe they're affiliates, maybe they're not. But either way, they're definitely clients and or members of our community, and we have conversations like we're doing now. So that's been a huge piece. But then on top of that, I'm starting to write, to blog, and I've actually got my son writing, right?
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, so I'm teaching him how to write, and it was kind of cool because like I just was like, how can I make sure I don't overwhelm him? So I just got him right into writing, and then I'm kind of coaching him along the way. But you can kind of see like over on the Legendary blog. I'll pull it up real quick.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got it.
we yeah you so let me share the screen. So we've got like all this content now that's in the hopper. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
we're ready to. But like this is an example of one we just kind of got it up yesterday. Um, and it's like this long form post about how long will it actually take to rank in Google, right?
Mhm.
And we're
Mhm.
trying to be somewhat targeted about our keywords and focus on long tail keywords, and we're going to do reviews of products and so forth and people, and then at the end we've got a pretty good call to action down here with a big, a big nice call to action box that then goes over into our funnels.
Yeah.
So my idea with this, and I essentially am wanting you to give me feedback on it, but also I want to hear what I want to give as the audience as much value about like the concept of starting a blog and then writing on there. What what do you think about this? Like just at first glance, what this sort of a post that's, I think all the SEO factors are good in it,
Mhm.
but just, do you find that more branded content that's like that has more of your story and your personality seated within it, or just really well written informative blog posts? Like what is your approach to content creation, I guess? Because I think the last thing I'll say before I'm just trying to tee this up for you, is that I think a lot of people, myself included, thought that for many years thought that search engine optimization with a blog, ranking blog post in the search engines, was about doing specific things with the blog post, to kind of game the search engines. But
Mhm.
what I think I've learned is that it's really just about super quality content. So what do
Yeah,
you think
that's
about what I got here? And then in response to kind of what I just said,
yeah,
what are your
just
thoughts?
quick glance. Yeah, it looks great. That's the right way to go about it. I do a different approach just because I'm not the greatest at like systems and stuff. So I don't know if you've heard of mass page sites. So, the proper way to go about it is to do what you're doing and write quality content. And yeah, it's interesting that you've come to the same conclusion as I have, because I I have a blog associated with one of my products, and I didn't like quote optimize it in any way, but I literally just started writing consistent content, like targeted. I mean, I had a keyword to start with, but I didn't focus on the things that maybe you came across several years ago, which was like keyword stuffing and all this stuff. Sometimes the article itself didn't even have the keyword in it. I just wrote it addressing that topic. So it probably had some of the keywords in the only thing I focus on as far as the keywords is putting them in the URL, and then to some degree the title, and then the body or whatever the article itself. I just call it a post because articles make it sound like work to me. So post.
Sure.
I just answer the question, and in my experience, it also doesn't really. You'll find different information online, but it doesn't, especially when it comes to long tail keywords, it doesn't necessarily matter the length, because if you answer the question good enough and it only takes you one paragraph and it's useful, so long as people find it and they get their question answered and they don't click the back button and go find another website, Google is going to reward that. Like, and the feeling I get with all this AI stuff, and I'm sure like through the webcams, they're probably like tracking our eye movement and stuff. That's my guess, is that eventually they're going to be able to tell through just AI and human behavior what people are doing. So it's going to get harder and harder to game the system. So where everything is eventually moving, I feel, is just to do things like you're doing, do things, just answer the question and stuff, provide value basically. And it doesn't have to be super branded, but one benefit of putting in some of your personality is that, if people are like you, then that's going to draw more people like that to you and stuff. So as opposed to just a generic post that's like, this was written by a guy named Dave in the byline or something, like, who's Dave?
Right. So because I'm not writing all the articles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this was one that I did write. It was a review on a company. It's an MLM company that just launched, but it's within our niche, like, business opportunity seekers. Like, you can build a whole business out of just targeting people in MLM because they're business opportunity seekers, right?
Wealthy affiliate, a good example.
Yeah, exactly. But like, this is a post to where, like, I wrote it and I put a lot of my own personality, like in the transition statement. Like, I kind of wrote about the company, and then I kind of like had this whole big section about, now let's talk about why 99% of people fail in home businesses, right? And then I told my story, right? And then I've got pictures of me and stuff. But if I'm, it's hard to, even though I think I'm going to be successful with having my son do a lot of, write in my voice, if I'm not writing all of them, it's definitely a lot easier to have somebody do an article like the one I just I've already got people commenting on this thing. So it must be ranking in the search engines already. I got to go back and get the actual call to actions linked out. I didn't even link the call to actions. But like, this is an example of what I mean by like heavy branding versus that last blog post that I showed you. Is the only real branding in the post is just this little image that I made right here of just who I am. It's like written by David Sharpe, and then the majority of the post is just all about the actual topic, like answering the questions and this was, my son didn't even write this. This was actually an article that we outsourced to a writing company, but they do a real good job of writing both valuable content and also, to have all the right SEO elements in the post, so my point is, this is an easier type of article for me anyways to have done, because the other sort of article, it's, I wrote that it's got a lot of things that's my kind of own personal information and knowledge, and it's kind of hard to outsource that.
That's true. Yeah. I I don't know how to answer that. Maybe it might attract less people, the one that's written by you with all this stuff woven into it, but the quality of people it would attract is probably a lot higher. But I like what you could form a template out of the one that you're showing me now, because what I've done in a previous website, you wouldn't know it was written by me, but I would write about the topic, and then I'd have the same segue to the call to actions. So that's, I don't know if you're doing that on all your blog posts, but it could be, you could easily weave whatever topic, because all the topics you're going to write about are going to be something related to marketing, probably.
Yeah. Right.
You can eventually segue and weave those into, and that's why you should blah, 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 sign up for our free report.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I call that, it's the same thing. I call it a transition question or transition statement. And that's exactly what you'll see basically right here. If you enjoyed this article on how to rank in Google and want to learn how to match this powerful marketing skill with more money, you might want to learn how to earn high ticket commissions, marketing valuable products people already want to buy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's kind of just a transition statement, and or you could start it out with a question, which we did. Have you enjoyed this article? Question. So what was the thing that you mentioned a minute ago about I don't really do that kind of you said something that I've never heard before.
Mass page sites. So the big I had a lot of epiphanies or whatever, aha moments over the years, but the one that really made it all click for me, and maybe people are warming up to this now, but back then, just a couple of years ago, what most courses, and I went through a lot of them, were teaching with the affiliate SEO were, go after the buyer keywords. And that was kind of really vague about what that even was, but it's like product name followed by the word review. Like that's what everybody's going after. Like, what about the other ones? And so in regards to long tail keywords, which that's just a fancy way of saying like longer search phrases related to that product or service or whatever search query.
Yeah.
What I've discovered, because I followed those, I did my due diligence and put in the time and effort and investment, and I followed those courses, and I ranked for certain keywords on page 1 for product name review. I ranked for several of them, and I wrote what I thought was a good article. And I made a tiny trickle of money. It wasn't, and it didn't, correlate well, whatever, with the amount of effort that I put into getting it ranked. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm sitting here on page 1 for lead pages review, ClickFunnels review, and all this stuff. And maybe I'll get one trial a month or something. Like, what's wrong? Like, my article can't be that terrible. And so luckily in the last couple of years, there's been these tools where they gather all these keyword suggestions, and so you can invest in those tools, and there's lots of them. The one I use is Ahrefs. They have a tool called Keywords Explorer, and I literally just use it for that one tool. But I love talking about this stuff, so just cut me off or whatever.
No, dude, I'm glued to every word you're saying, so keep going.
But so kind of a little bit of history for folks that are just starting out. I don't think people have been typing in long tail keywords for a long time, but there wasn't in the past. I don't think there was a way to grab them from any service or whatever, because until Google started doing the search autocomplete, it started giving you some recommendations like, did you mean this? Did you mean that? That wasn't a thing back then. So in order for SEOs to target those keywords, we just sort of had to guess to the best of my ability. We just sort of had to what would I type in? And then you try to make an article about that. And that would be like the long tail keywords that you're guessing at. But these tools now, they go out there and, the people that make them are way smarter than me. And they go out there and scrape all these keywords that people are, typing into these search engines, and you can just download them. So that gives you a lot of insight into what people are actually typing in. And so my aha moment was, hey, if everybody's going after, legendary marketer review, which there's actually not going to be too many people, honestly, only the people that know how to do SEO, which is a handful, but still you're competing with those folks. What about the other 5,000 keywords that they're probably searching for to do research of whether or not they should, they're deciding of whether or not they should join this opportunity? What about those? So, and all this is moving towards answering your question. So that's what I found, where I found that those keywords were where all the gold was, like that, where all the money was. So each individual keyword, since they're long tail, they get a trickle of traffic. So what all the other courses were saying, there's they like to cite these keyword research tools, and they say, well, according to like the Google Keyword Planner, this tool, I mean, it's not even registering on the Keyword Planner tool, therefore it gets 0 searches. That's a complete lie. First off, because if somebody is typing it in and you can find that keyword somehow, that means at least one person typed that in. And if it's specific, they're like way down the funnel of the awareness level. Right. And so if they're already familiar with what Legendary is and they're typing in something that specific, then you don't have to do a lot of selling, which again is wonderful for me because I'm not that great at selling. I just have to like tip them over the edge and like, hey, you're considering Legendary, right? These are all the reasons why it's awesome, and I'm going to give you this bonus, sign up here. And then they do. And we're, the other courses would say, oh, this one person, it's only like one keyword. Well, that's why we have like hundreds of them or thousands of it as opportunities and products get more and more popular. I don't know how many. I think Legendary's got over 1,000 or something that I can find. But in the beginning, it's smaller and it grows and grows and grows as the opportunity gets bigger. But the thing is, there's like 0 competition for those keywords because nobody's going to take the effort to write a blog post or an article about those specific things, which is getting to the answer here. So why I do what's called mass page sites. So I take all those keywords, and there's tools and plugins out there where you can just like create lots of blog posts quickly. And I think of it as like casting a wide net into the ocean, and you're going to catch some, or a pond maybe. So if you have a massive net, you're going to catch some fish, and it's also my way of just like this shotgun approach with the keywords, because again, this isn't like theory or something, in my results that I've gotten from, doing what I was told and ranking for, keyword followed by the word review, I got very little traffic and very little money and results. And I don't know what is the magic keyword. Nobody knows that. And you can't tell that from a keyword tool. So what if it gets traffic? I mean, if you type in shoes to Google, that gets a whole lot of traffic. But what is the intent behind that? I don't know. But if you type in red Nike men's running shoes, size 10, that's a little bit more specific. They're probably in the market to buy some shoes. But shoes, who knows? I don't care that it gets 500,000 searches. So anyway, this, by casting this wide net, allows me to quickly see which keywords are actually responsible for sales and stuff. So it's
and that's mass page sites.
Yeah, and just to be, transparent, it is kind of gray hat, but the reason it works, and to kind of tie into the title of this, infinitely scalable, the reason it works is because of what I said before. There is so few, basically 0 people targeting the majority of these long tail keywords, because most people don't know anything about affiliate marketing and SEO, and even fewer people know anything about like, long tail keywords. And I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, it's just and most people can't, they don't have the time to sit down and write a specific blog post about, like, just take Legendary, for example. Let's just say it has 1,500 keywords. You know, for the working person that's just trying to do this on the side, it would take you maybe, I don't know, a couple months or maybe a year to just crank out little blog posts for each one of those keywords. Now, if you followed through on it, by the time you got to the end, it would start to build some momentum, and then you'd probably start getting some consistent signups, and then people would call you lucky because you get all these signups. And it's like, but you put in the work, that's, so that's what I don't know if I can talk about other, products, but if it's okay, just mention that's how I achieved the ClickFunnels Dream Car Award.
Yeah.
So, and to give people some context, I haven't really created any content for that in like 3 or 4 years. And a lot of people, they always ask this question. This may come up in your groups too, about competition and saturation. And I just kind of like chuckle. I don't really chime in anymore with the ClickFunnels group, but these newbies they're always wondering about saturation. Is it saturated now? Is it saturated? And it's actually the opposite of that. It's the opportunity has gotten bigger, because when I got started with ClickFunnels, it was kind of popular, but because it hadn't been around for very long, there weren't a lot of keywords for me to target. And there's like 20,000 now. Back when I started, there was maybe 1,000. And so there's actually more opportunity. So, and I'm sure it is with Legendary. Like when I saw Jacob post that screenshot 2 years ago, I didn't know what this was. Like, nobody was talking about it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I've actually been in it for like a year." I was like, "Well, how did?" I don't know how he discovered it, but I guess it's kind of yeah.
We like to keep it quiet.
Yeah, underground.
We like to keep it quiet.
I know.
So people want to know your blog. Do you have a blog that people can go and check out, or not really?
Not really. These sites, they're not something that I have, that they're not something that you like brag about. Like, look at my little niche site or whatever. They're not super pretty, but they're effective. So
yeah. So basically what you're doing is setting up niche sites do you set up, if you're doing a product, if you're doing a ClickFunnels review, do you set up your one site for that one product?
Sure. That'd be a great way to do it, because that's the more relevant content you post to that blog, it's going to kind of signal to Google that, hey, this site is all about this one thing. And that's kind of what you want. It actually favors very niche sites over like the Huffington Post and stuff, because Huffington Post, sure, it's a big site, it gets a lot of traffic, but it's about everything. Like Google doesn't probably know where to place that.
So with that said, how many, I got a special bonus for everybody just for being here listening to this. How many of you guys would like something that will make your life incredibly easy? And if you wanted to implement this strategy, which I'm going to give you a little idea why you might want to implement this strategy, this will be a godsend to you. Anybody in the comments would you like a special bonus, a special gift that I have for you here today? It looks like I know there's a delay, but maybe there's nobody that wants it. So let me move on here just for a second. So here's why you might want this. And what this bonus is this is a free course that will take you through and show you exactly how to set up a blog. Okay. Why is that valuable? Well, because it'll save you from going and getting lost in 50,000 rabbit holes on YouTube and screwing around. And you could get a blog set up by the end of today. Right. All right, cool. So let me give that away. This is actually done by a marketer inside of our community. His name's Alex. And this is just on a Google, a Google Doc. So it's nothing. It's just all the videos are right on a Google Doc. I just posted in the comments, and you guys can there's no opt-in, there's no nothing. You can just watch the videos and set up the freaking blog. There's no affiliate links, no nothing. So it's right there in the comments. So now you have step by step how to set up a blog quickly by the end of today. Now here's my strategy. And Greg just told you guys what his strategy is. It's basically to set up a blog, in an individual blog with a specific domain to market and build, create articles on a specific topic. And when you said the mass page sites, how do you get mass pages quickly on a site? Is there some sort of a tool that you use to do that?
Yeah, and there's several, but the one I use is called SERP Shaker. And just to, if people don't feel comfortable with that, because it's kind of like it can be used and abused and sloppy or whatever. The way to tweak this process just to make it more white hat or whatever. It's not, you're not doing anything illegal or whatever without what I'm doing, but just to do it like if I was doing this or advising like the Legendary blog, the only tweak you'd have to make is just to manually write these articles or get them outsourced for all those long tail keywords. It's the only little tweak. So if it makes you uncomfortable doing like having all this content out there, that's the only tweak you got to make. So.
I love hearing you qualify your black hat, gray hat strategy here.
Sorry, I don't know. This is why I can't do YouTube videos anymore. It's like when you tell people the truth,
like interviews where we're like, tell us your black hat strategy. And you're like, yeah. Anyways, so
I don't mind sharing it. It's just I get suspended. This is why I'm like hiding the shadows now, man. It's like I'm very generous.
You get what? You get what? Suspended?
Yeah, Google doesn't like you teaching people how to game their system on one of their platforms.
Yeah. So is that SERP Shaker? Is that a domain that people can go and grab that tool or something?
Yeah, I think it's just serpshaker.com.
SERP.
SERP.
Hey y'all, we gonna go out and shake some SERPs.
Yeah, this is
SERP Shaker. SERP Shaker.
You probably have many examples of this. This is like why it's good to like know people and form relationships, because I don't even remember how I came across this tool, but you'll never come across it today because the guy that created it, even though it's still for sale, he's not really active and stuff, and it's not going to get like relaunched or anything. So
this thing right here.
Yeah. So
hey, y'all, I'm about to take this down right now. This is serpshaker.com. All right, go check it out. All right. We're gonna get off that site. So I don't know anything about SERP Shaker. Maybe we'll go and do a back end tutorial for our mastermind clients or something in the upcoming mastermind. We're doing a virtual mastermind in January. Maybe I can twist your arm to come on and we'll do a SERP. We'll shake some SERPs up or something. But here's what I'm doing, and I always actually personally prefer to go this route because I'm doing it on the Legendary Marketer blog because that domain's got some age to it.
Yep.
And like I know I can rank. So if you guys have some domains that you have owned for a long time, Greg, would you agree that does that qualify them as giving them more authority or more age? Is that true or is that untrue?
Yeah, that's another reason why I wouldn't share my domains, just because it's not, I'm not really proud of what they look like, but the names are weird because I use expired domains. I buy ones that have been, whatever, they've dropped or someone has let them expire, and they have lots of links pointing to them. So they already have authority. So when you build on them again, they get traction faster.
Boom.
So
whoop, that is hit me. Whoop, that. So how do you buy an expired domain, dude?
There's lots of tools, but probably the most affordable and easiest to use is I hate this name, but it's a really good tool. It's called spamzilla.io.
I thought you were gonna be like screw them in the butt or something. I mean, come on, dude. Like this is HBO. This is not ABC. You know what I mean? Like Legendary Lives are like HBO, not ABC. You know what I mean?
Right,
this
cool.
isn't
an ABC
family.
Or
NB. Yeah, like if you were like screw them in the butt SEO.com, I'd be like, that is pretty out there. But what did you say it was?
Spamzilla. So just spamzilla.io, I believe. And it's
spamzilla.com.
Yeah. Not my favorite name for a tool, but it's awesome.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. That didn't is that what it looks like?
A .io.
My
That,
dude's
well,
bringing
they
out
should go ahead
all.
and buy it. Looks like it's
Hell yeah, dude. All right, expired domains to boost rankings. All right. So, all right, let's explain for everybody. This is a masterclass, man.
yeah.
So, the reason why I'm blogging on Legendary Marketer and why it's a useful domain for me to blog on is because it's an age domain. It gets lots of traffic because people are logging into our courses and so forth. So and quite frankly, even our affiliates can use it because you can affiliate track any page and you can send traffic to it as like a
Pre-sale almost. That's
well, yeah, like like a pre-sale or like what's the word? I'm losing it. We call them it's an article that also sells
dang it.
you know what I'm talking
Advertorial.
about. Advertorial. Thank you. I'm foggy. So
Yeah, that's one of the only pieces of content that it's very, very hard to outsource.
an advertorial.
Yeah.
But if we got a really good, if we've got affiliates or something who are like, I want content to be able to send in my autoresponder follow-up series, and they want really quality stuff, they can send it here. And like it's a great way because there's a call to action down at the bottom for them to get people into the funnel to buy, right? So anyways, I want to talk about my strategy and why you guys might want to consider starting a blog yourself. What I'm doing is, instead of all this, and I want to tie this back into the thing that I brought up a while ago, and now almost like a half hour ago, I was doing all this like motivational content, and I realized it was just a big waste of time. Like, it really was a waste of time. It was putting my face out there, which I don't even care about that anymore. Like, I don't care that my face is out there anymore. I've done that. I've had that. It's fine. It's good, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I would say I like to, for me personally, there's some people that want to be famous. I like to say, I don't want to be rich and famous. I want to be rich and anonymous. Just
totally,
kind of
man. Totally, dude. And the older I get, the more I feel like that too. So I was doing all this kind of like motivational stuff, which is good. Like, I could create good content, but it like wasn't converting into sales. We did this kind of long test, and it wasn't converting into sales.
Well,
It was
that's
taking
because you don't have enough Lambos.
exactly. I know exactly. I got to rent more Lambos. And so I was like, this is stupid. And I stopped, you know what I mean? And so I just kind of stopped posting content on the internet. I stopped going on Facebook, except for our groups. And so what we do now is we do the show and then we post it on YouTube. And then now I'm writing articles and or outsourcing the writing of articles. And then I'm going to take those articles and I'm going to record them also as videos, right? And I might change the title slightly or whatever. I don't want to have totally duplicate content. Although, let me ask you, if I have an article and then I read it word for word and turn it into a video on YouTube, do you know if that's considered duplicate content?
It's not, and it wouldn't matter anyway. That's another myth. I've
Really?
literally made money. I've literally done these mass page sites and duplicated the site exactly, and made money off both of them. So it's literally a whole 30,000 page site of an exact duplicate, and made money with both of them. So
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these really valuable articles and I'm going to then speak them, and whether I read them off a teleprompter or I just record with screen capture software myself reading the article. Like, it doesn't even matter because I'm just trying to get that keyword, that content onto YouTube.
Yep.
And that's going to be my strategy over the next year, right? As a strategy to test. And I think that we'll do real well with it. We posted last year, I don't know, like 6 articles, okay, on our blog. And we had this one article that was getting all this traffic that didn't even have a call to action at the end of it. And I was like, oh, And just like somebody said in the comments earlier, they were like, I was blogging and reviewing stuff, but then I gave up. Like, we stopped doing it. And I was like, holy shit, like, imagine if we have 1,000, 1,500 articles on the site over the next 90 days or 6 months, like how much traffic that would generate.
Yeah. And I've had courses over the years too. And that's been everybody that's has the same response as that, like that they give up too soon. And then like 6 months later, they'll come back to my course because they're like, hey, Greg, I made a sale from that article I wrote like 3 months ago. So it's just a little frustrating in the beginning because sometimes the traction can be kind of slow, but also sometimes it can
Say
be.
that again. Somebody was at the door. I had to. What did you just say? Because
I
I
was
missed
just
what you
telling
said.
them how to make $1 million in 15 minutes, but
I don't. Damn it!
Um,
well, that's not good enough. If you would have said 15 seconds, but anyways, keep going. I want to hear about 15 minutes.
I'm just a scammer, 15 minutes. But where was I going? Dang it, I forgot now. Seriously.
Sorry. I'm messing up here.
But it was recorded, so.
Well, dude, you do have an SEO course, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That reminds me. So, yeah. So one thing I've heard from multiple students of mine is that they start out and within a couple weeks, couple months, and they give up because they don't see anything, and then they go take 15 other courses, and 6 months later they get a sale from their blog that they set up 6 months ago, and they're like, oh, and then that brings them back to my course. They go through it again, and they scale up those commissions. So yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, if
there's your boy.
yeah, Kevin. Well, guys, buy his stuff, man. Buy Greg's stuff. This dude's a freaking. He's clearly knows what he's doing. So buy his stuff. SEO affiliate domination.com. Maybe some people will go and buy your stuff. I would certainly recommend it.
Well,
you can't sell it, so maybe I'll try to sell it for you. You know what I mean? It's true, the point that you made, though, man. Like, a lot of people want to get into course sales, and they're like, so they spend all this time creating this awesome kick-ass course, and then they're like, shit, I suck at sales, I'm not a copywriter.
Yeah, and I've got friends that are copywriters, so maybe one day I'll clean it up. But it's frustrating because I know I've got some of the best information, but whatever, I just can't sell it that well. But whatever.
Well,
some people,
the right people. I mean, the good thing, what's kind of cool and ironic about your information and your course here is that more sales would be good. More sales would always be good. I'm gonna go back off of this guy. So SEO affiliate domination.com is his course. Buy it. So what's good about it, and I think this is kind of a cool place to bring this airplane in for a landing, is that you don't actually need to sell your course because you're making money with what you teach in the course, which is that's the piece. That's the thing that's really important and really cool. So
yeah, that's true. I only make maybe like 5% of my income comes from the course, maybe, or less. So majority of my money, unlike other course creators, is it comes from what I do, not from what I teach or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
dude. So one other thing, this Ahrefs thing that you mentioned, that's the keyword tool that you use.
Yeah, but it is pretty expensive. So let me give you another one. There's a keyword tool associated with SEMrush, SEMrush.com.
Yeah.
I think it's called Keyword Magic or something. It'll give you about the same data, and it's considerably more affordable. So you can start there, and then where I started, because I didn't make hardly any money at my past jobs. There's a free version of, I think it's keywordtool.io, and they'll give you a couple hundred searches for free. And that's what I used to get started with ClickFunnels. I would scrape a list that they gave me there, and it was only like 500 or something, or 300. And like I back then I was making videos and I was still working. So I came home from work at night and I only had like about 2 to 3 hours of um, like energy left at the end of the day.
Right.
And
Right.
so I took the list. So I just typed in ClickFunnels. And so,
On this one right here.
yep. So I
I
just
got you.
typed in what's called like a root keyword,
Right.
which is the product name itself. And it should give you hopefully a couple hundred.
Mm.
Yeah, 270, not that many, but you should be able to export that. And I just started with a list like that. And every day I came home from work and I made 5 little videos that were probably 3 minutes each. And I just took it in bite-sized chunks. And by the end of the month, I had about 150 videos. So it's like 5 times 30. And that was what I did to get the ball rolling. And timing had a little bit to do with it, because at the time I'm pretty sure I had more videos about those specific keywords on YouTube on my channel than ClickFunnels had in their help documents. And so
Right.
when people were searching for this stuff, trying to figure out how to use ClickFunnels, they would come
Right.
across me because I'm the only content out there. And I even had I met Nathan Lucas this year at the ClickFunnels event, and
Mhm.
I never met him, so he came up to me, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Like I know who you are because of the legendary back office." And he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, actually, now he makes like tons more money than me." But he was like, "Yeah, years ago I came across your videos. Like I saw your videos. So like, just I'm not chasing fame or anything, but if you show your face or voice or whatever, you put yourself out there on YouTube, there are people that are going to find you, and a lot of people, you may never see the ripple effect that you have on people, but like
Sure.
I don't know where he started, but I know where he is now. And apparently, when he found me, I don't think he was anywhere close to where he is today, but now he is.
Yeah.
Um, you can just attract people to you, just
Yeah.
being yourself and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and just creating content. I mean, the difference between what we're talking about with you here, which is targeted content to a specific keyword, and just making random motivational content that just in sharing motivational memes, is that, again, the difference between making money and just getting likes. And most of the time that motivational shit doesn't even get likes because people really don't want to hear about that stuff, honestly. Like they're like they hear that motivational stuff and they're like, get this asshole, is honestly most people's reaction, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to be
So
hated. That's why, like, if I ever did another YouTube channel, which I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I'm probably going to turn the comments off. You can get 100 positive comments, and you have that one that you accidentally see that's like a negative one, it just ruins your whole day. But I want to include this before I forget, because
sure.
there's a lot of reasons I love what I do in my strategy and long tail keywords and stuff, but like one takeaway I want people to grasp in all this is, if it resonates with you, if you decide to blog, or if video is more your style, like you can go 2 directions. You may be the person that likes to be on camera. If that's the case, then do YouTube instead of blogging. You may not like to write or whatever. That's fine. You've got 2 angles you can go. But if you just pick one thing that you know something about, or you like, or you're passionate about, you can make a very comfortable full-time income with that one product or one niche or whatever. Like, and it can be super micro niche in a bigger niche. So like I have an older friend named Walt that I have lunch or breakfast with every Friday, except for today because of this. But he has this very specific like supplement um, Shopify store. It gets a trickle of traffic, hardly any traffic. And these are like, I mean, it's supplements. So you think, well, supplements make a lot of money. This is extremely like specific line of supplements that you would only find his website if you were searching for these specific supplements. But with that teeny little, it's a really ugly website too, and it gets a trickle of traffic. He makes about $5,000 a month gross, and net is I think 2,000 to 3,000. So I'm sharing that because, like, to just give you an example, that you like a lot of people, they see these people, the YouTube ads of folks parading around with Lambos and mansions that are probably just Airbnbs and whatnot, but they think that they need $1 million. And like, I'm a prime example that you don't need that. Like my past job, last job, I was making $1,200, I think, a month. And this was in 2016, this is with a college degree. I went to college and everything. I was just not great at selling myself and stuff. So that's, so I used to focus on those numbers too. And like, oh, I need to make all this money. But then I was like, well, I'm only getting 1,200 at this job. The only number I need to focus on is replacing that number with passive income. If I can replace that, I don't need the job.
Yeah.
And so, and you can, in my experience, and just, I don't like to use my experience too much, but this is also what I've seen with my students too. The ones that, put in the effort, takes them about 3 months or so to get their money back. And but in 12 months or less, you can become super proficient at this. Like, especially if you have a blueprint. Like, it took me 10 years because I had to find all the pieces. And there's a whole lot of misinformation to sift through out there. In about 2 years or less, you can go from really proficient to pretty much mastery level, like no more than almost anybody else on the planet. So that's, and before I went to art school, but before that I went to community college. Community college was 2 years. So, that's not that long, a year, we've been in COVID now for over 6 months. That's how quickly time can fly, so.
Is that all it's been? Fuck.
Yeah, it's like 10 years squeezed into 8 months. But I just want to share that because that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this, and to tie it into the infinitely scalable thing.
Infinity scalable mass millions in 15 seconds.
Exactly. Anybody can do it. But but seriously, they can, because there's so many other skills out there. I'm sure people have been through lots of other courses, and in order to sell those products, they talk about scarcity and lack and fear and like time's running out. That's why you got to get in like today in the next 3 seconds. And to some degree, that's true because some of those platforms do shift and change. And but
Yeah.
with what you're going to learn, whatever, in my course or whatever, in SEO in general, it really hasn't changed. And I've been blessed enough to have met the right people over the years that have told me that, or like told me the real secret behind SEO. It's very, very simple, and it hasn't changed. A lot of people think, the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. No, it's extremely stable. Unlike some of the, the Facebooks and stuff, very volatile. Some people have made a lot of millions of dollars, but I'm sure we all know people that, they had that one campaign that was working, and the next day Facebook was, even though they're spending $100,000 a week, Facebook was like, now you're suspended. And so anyways, there's enough opportunity out there for everybody. The competition basically doesn't exist. And anybody that wants to do this, if you put in the effort, it can set you up for, a very comfortable living for life. And, if you're able to cancel out the need for a 9 to 5, and you have passive income coming in every single month, then what that does is that frees up your time. So now if you've got, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 coming in passively, and you've got all of your time, then you can use that time, or just a portion of it, to create more income. So it's just this compounding effect. So
it's a good life, man. It's a good life.
I just want to share that it doesn't take that long. It doesn't have to take gobs and gobs of money. That's how short a time it takes. It can take, and there's enough opportunity. It's not like the opportunity is going away next week. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because there's so many people that I don't know, this can help. And
yeah. Well, I have been talking about first of all, before I pull up the slide, and then we're gonna wrap up here, because you've been super gracious with your time. What I want to point out is that this does not just apply to blogging. And I just want to piggyback on something that you said. You can do this on YouTube also. YouTube is a search engine. And I want everybody to understand this, that YouTube is a search engine. People are typing in things to YouTube, questions, asking YouTube questions, so forth, the same way that they do with Google, right? So the reason why I'm taking my blog content and then going to repurpose it on YouTube is because why wouldn't I? They're both kind of the same thing. Just one spits out written content, one spits out video content. Guys are owned by the same company. It's all a Google product. So they're both, Google specializes in search engines. That's what they do, right? That's their main thing. That's their main squeeze. So, but this visual will give you a good example of how to choose marketing strategies, right? So I've been preaching this for a long time, one free, one paid. And we capitalize on these platforms because that's where we can extract data onto our list, making both money, but also getting them onto our list for that particular product or niche. We're capitalizing on these platforms. This is data that we don't own, and the goal is to get them onto our list, data that we do own. And I'm just a fan of building a list, like at least trying to get the opt-in. Like you don't always have to go and take people into a landing page to get the opt-in, but the idea that I want to drill home is one free, one paid. And although, as you get more advanced, you can do blogging and video marketing. But ultimately, we always start people off like, hey, at least understand and learn how to run a paid marketing campaign. At least learn how to and kind of have that going in the background, just because it's just good to kind of at least understand how to do that and have, even if it's retargeting ads. But one free, right? Start out with video marketing, start out with blogging, right? This keeps it simple in the beginning for you to, and then again, as you're moving forward, you can sort of say, okay, look, I'm going to totally scratch the paid. I'm going to focus totally on video and blogging. And, at a certain point, like you may realize that I don't want to, I just want to focus 100% of my time on free marketing strategies, but the way that we teach people in the beginning is we sort of teach them to kind of launch ads to different products and different niches, Greg. Mm-hmm. And then they understand how at least they can find affiliate products and make sales immediately by running ads to those in the right way. And then over time, after they've picked their niche, we teach people to pick one niche first and kind of begin creating content in that one niche first. Then from there you can expand. You can then go into doing more, even like you're doing multiple products and multiple niches. But I do want to point out to everybody, you're 10 years into the game, and after 10 years, there's a lot more that and a lot more that you can do.
Yeah, I would like to say this too, in terms of types of products to promote, since SEO is something that takes a little bit of time. Ideally, you would want to promote products that are either ideally as evergreen as possible, which means they're going to be around for many, many years, like hosting and established companies like autoresponders, and not just autoresponders, but like established ones like Aweber and GetResponse and things. Evergreen recurring is beautiful because you do the work once. You don't. Most people aren't going to unsubscribe the first month and stuff. So there'll be continuity, and then high ticket, one of those three things: evergreen, recurring, high ticket. And if you can get all those three things combined, which Legendary has a lot of those elements, beautiful.
Yeah, man. All right, I'm going to post your stuff, Greg's course, in the comments. Here's your course. That's going in the comments if you guys want to pick up Greg's course. Well, go ahead. I'm just going to post these things in the comments as you're finishing up saying what you were saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Yeah, just That's pretty much it.
Right. Expired domain names. You gave a lot of good stuff here today, man. I appreciate you being willing to, to give up a lot of your sort of industry secrets and
Yeah.
strategies and so forth that you use. It's appreciated. Um, Hopefully you'll be willing to come back on and have me continue to twist your arm for more of your insider secrets.
Yeah, there's so much more I can share. This is just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
I
the
I
opportunity.
really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you more. Now that we've talked, we can kick the can around anytime you want, dude. So feel free to
Awesome.
reach out to me and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out as well. Okay.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right. See you, brother.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys. That was Greg Jeffries, and I'm trying to get a lot of his keyword tools. So I'm going to get this in the comments as well. This was the free keyword tool that we demoed, and you guys can go back and watch the replay. That might be one that you want to watch a couple of times because there was a lot of nuggets. Blog setup bonus. Here's the blog setup bonus. I'm going to put that in the comments as well. So you'll just have to scroll through the comments if you want to see all these links, because there's obviously other comments that are kind of piling on top of these links that I'm posted in there. But anyways, man, I want to thank Greg again for like such an awesome hour of his time of going into what was almost like a damn masterclass on SEO. And we'll see you guys back here on Monday for Wake Up Legendary. We do this 5 days a week, and remember, each and every day we bring on somebody from the community who's kicking ass and taking names and making things happen here within Legendary and within their business. So meet us back here Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Wake Up Legendary, be legendary, and we'll see you guys then. Peace.